Good day, children. So today we move on to the second part of the lesson, the lost child. So we had stopped where the little child is making a bold request to his parents that he wants to go on the roundabout. Let's continue. There was no reply. He turned to look at his parents. They were not there ahead of him. He turned to look on either side. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. A full, deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood crying in real fear. Mother! Father! Tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce. His flushed face was convulsed with fear. Panic-stricken, he ran to one side first, then to the other, hither and thither in all directions, knowing not where to go. Mother! Father! He wailed. His yellow turban came untied and his clothes became muddy. So, what happened when the child made the bold request and he looked? He didn't get any reply. So, he turned to look at his parents and he was shocked to find that they were not there. Neither were they ahead of them. They were neither on the side. They were not there at all. Now, the little child started being afraid. And he started crying out in real fear, calling out for his parents. And his flushed face was convulsed with fear, which means that his face, which had turned red because of the fear, there was fear completely shown on his face. And he was panic-stricken, or he was scared, and he started running from one side to another, from here to there, and in all direction possible, and he didn't know where to go. And his yellow turban just came untied and his clothes became muddy. Having run to and fro in a rage of running for a while, he stood defeated, his cries suppressed into sobs. At little distances on the green grass he could see, through his filmy eyes, men and women talking. He tried to look intently among the patches of bright yellow clothes, but there was no sign of his father and mother among these people who seemed to laugh and talk just for the sake of laughing and talking. So he ran here and there, looking in a rage of running. Okay, and then he stood defeated. He didn't know what to do. He stood defeated and he started crying. And he could see, through his filmy eyes, means his eyes was covered with tears. So with that tears bound eyes, he looked at the people talking, and he tried to catch sign of his parents, but he couldn't find them. He ran quickly again, this time to a shrine to which people seemed to be crowding. Every little inch of space here was congested with men, but he ran through people's legs, his little sob lingering. Mother! Father! Near the entrance to the temple, however, the crowd became very thick. Men jostled each other, heavy men with flashing murderous eyes and hefty shoulders. The poor child struggled to thrust a way between their feet, but knocked to and fro by the brutal movements. He might have been trampled underfoot had he not shrieked at the highest pitch of his voice, Father! Mother! A man in the surging crowd heard his cry and, stooping with great difficulty, lifted him up in his arms. So, the little child ran towards a shrine or a temple where people seemed to be crowding. And every inch of that place was crowded, congested, crowded with men, but he ran between people's legs and he was calling out to his parents. And near the entrance of the temple, however, there was a huge crowd. There were huge men who were quite huge for a little boy. They were moving here and there, and the poor child was not able to move in between their feet, and he just shrieked in his highest pitch of voice, and a man suddenly took him out of the crowd. How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you? The man asked as he steered clear of the mass. The child wept more bitterly than ever now and only cried, I want my mother. I want my father. The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. Will you have a ride on the horse? He gently asked as he approached the ring. The child's throat tore into 1,000 shrill sobs, and he only shouted, I want my mother. I want my father. The man headed towards the place where the snake charmer still played on the flute to the swaying cobra. Listen to that nice music, child, he pleaded. But the child shut his ears with his fingers and shouted his double-pitched strain, "I want my mother, I want my father." The man took him near the balloons, thinking the bright colors of the balloons would distract the child's attention and quieten him. "Would you like a rainbow-colored balloon?" he persuasively asked. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and he just sobbed, "I want my mother, I want my father." The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller sat. "Look, can you smell those nice flowers, child? Would you like a garland to put round your neck?" The child turned his nose away from the basket and reiterated his sob, "I want my mother, I want my father." Thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweets, the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. "What sweets would you like, child?" he asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed, "I want my mother, I want my father." So, here we can see how the little child who had asked for the sweets and the flowers and the balloons, or even listen to the music of the snake charmer, or go about the roundabout, he wanted all that when he was with his parents. But now that his parents are not there, he's missed his parents. All these things which fascinated him in the beginning, which interested him in the beginning, has no meaning to him now. The child was being taken by an unknown man. The unknown man the stranger was trying to help the little child, tried to relax the child by taking him to the roundabout, by taking the child to the snake charmer, or even offering to buy him the balloons and the garland. But no, the child just reiterated that he only wants his mother and father. He does not want any of that. He even does not want his favorite sweet. Okay, all that he wanted was his parents. So here we can see how the child who initially, that's how the child who initially wanted lot of things, once he loses out on his parents, he realizes that all that matters to him is his parents. Now this is how our life is like. We will be adamant, we will throw tantrums at our parents, demanding them to get a lot of things. Probably things that you are sure your parents won't allow you, but you still throw a tantrum, you demand them, those things for yourself. And, you might have fights with your parents, such things happen. But there will come a point in our life where we will be separated from our parents. We'll be separated or we'll be away from our parents. And it is at that point that we realize the value of listening to our parents and the value of being with our parents. And here the little child realizes that, all those fancies, his favorite sweets, or the rainbow-colored rainbows, the rainbow-colored balloons, or the garland, or the music of the snake charmer, or even the roundabout, all that does not matter to him. All he wants is his parents. No matter will be people around you, you may be surrounded by people trying to console you, trying to take you out of your grief, but no one or nothing in this world can replace our parents. So children, remember, try to listen to your parents and follow their words. Do not throw tantrums or be adamant on things you know is not good for you. Make your parents happy, listen to them, obey them. I think that's the best thing that we can do for our parents. So that's the lesson for today, children. Please write down the notes and answer the questions in the assignment. Okay? Thank you, children.